everybody, and welcome to What You Need to Know. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I am just surrounded by all of these great and brilliant minds and comedic minds, the minds of the world, and with public policy and what have you. And it gives me great pleasure to be in company with three such distinguished gentlemen. The What You Need to Know newsletter is why we are here, and we talk about the subjects, the topics of the African American community that we would like for you to be aware of on a daily basis. Monday through Friday, we produce the What You Need to Know newsletter. And if you are so interested in the topics that are a part of our community, encourage you to please go to sybilwilkes.com and subscribe to the What You Need to Know newsletter. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll have you in our What You Need to Know news crew. And we send out the newsletter each Monday through Friday morning. So first thing in the morning, we hope that you will turn over and consult us for what's going on in the community. And there is a lot going on, and especially this Tuesday in a number of states, but especially in the states of Alabama and Texas, there are some runoff elections. And the runoff election in Tuesday in Texas is going to make a world of difference. And we are talking to that difference maker. Royce West is our state senator from the state of Texas, and he is in the Democratic runoff for the U.S. Senate nomination for the Democratic Party. And Royce West, we welcome you and thank you for taking time. I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time that you're able to give us today, and welcome. Appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Sybil. What about yourself?
I'm great and very, very pleased and grateful to have you here today. So I thank you very much. Also, on this day, we welcome back the man who taught me so much about this business and who has forgotten more than I will ever know, and especially what we're doing with the What You Need to Know newsletter, and that is super serving the African American community. He is the voice of Black radio, and he is missed. Hello, Tom Joyner. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Royce West, my friend for life.
That's right.
Life.
That's right. And joining us today is another good friend and just another concerned citizen, and also a brilliant comedic mind. And say every Thursday we say hello to the one and only George Wallace. How you doing, George?
And today's show is brought to you by the last container of Lysol wipes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is up for grab. $695 for 35 wipes. You can get it now. Go online, George Wallace at Lysol, and we got each wipe for you. You can wipe anything. You know, one time I had made a mistake and wiped my genitals with this.
Okay, all right, George. We're going to move on from that. We might have to take you out.
Burns the ring of fire.
Sure.
I'm on with the senator. I got to watch my language because.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
I had dinner with him a few months ago, and you talking about an E. I start cussing. I went, what the hell? What the hell? Senator Ross, it's good to be with you, Senator West. God bless you. You're looking good.
God bless you too, George.
Yes.
Senator Royce West, of not originally from Texas, but you got here as soon as you could. I know that. And a graduate of the University of Texas, as well as a law school, a gentleman of laws and letters, and that was the University of Houston.
University of Houston, Wilmer Hutchins High School, though.
Wilmer Hutchins High School, gotcha. And so, Royce, you are, when we think about, especially about the representation of Texas, and you are one of the finest leaders and a face of great leadership in the Texas Senate. And now you are moving on, helping to move on to the United States Senate. And you are in a runoff, and the Tuesday runoff is between you and MJ Hager. She is an Air Force veteran, and you are close, very close in this race. And you, as a matter of fact, there's the latest poll regarding the early voting. Can you share with us?
Yes, you know, going back to Tom Joyner, all of us have been associated with Tom of these many years. I used to be his newsman when we were at KKDA Radio over the Mayfield Towers, way back when, before I went to law school. What the polls are basically showing now, I started off with a 16-point deficit right after the primary. And what it's showing now is that all of the people that have voted in Texas, which has been over 482,000, it's 50-50 right now. It's
50-50.
Right.
Early voting continues until this weekend?
Actually, until tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Friday. Okay.
Right.
And then the election day, the runoff election day is Tuesday, July 14th.
That's right. And this is the issue. And what state has the most African Americans, population-wise? Texas.
I would think so.
Really?
Right. And there are 1.2, 1.3 million African Americans that are registered to vote in Texas.
Ooh.
Here's the problem, though. Only 28% thus far have voted. And you know, we talk about what happened with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and it goes on and on and on. Did they die for nothing? We've protested, we boycotted, and we can't get up and vote in Texas? I think not. You know, I just refuse to continue to be a victim of history. We have an opportunity to make history.
Right.
If we need to make certain that we vote like our life depends on it. Because guess what?
And it does.
It does.
It does. It absolutely does. So here's why I wanted you here, Royce, not only to talk about the issues and to get folks pumped up and ready to vote, finishing out the early voting tomorrow and then getting to the polls if you're unable early to get there on Tuesday. If you are watching us from anywhere outside of the state of Texas and you know people who are registered to vote and you know that this is an important vote and it is about making history in the state of Texas, Royce West can be a part of turning the United States Senate blue. This is really important in this day and age. And not only talking about how important it is to vote for the president, but we're talking about those other elected offices below the presidency. If you know people in Texas, call them, ask them to get up and get out to vote. If not tomorrow, definitely on Tuesday. And don't let anybody tell you any other day after Tuesday, by the way.
He just gave us the numbers. 1 million Black people. That's a wipeout right off the bat. If we just vote, we got him in. If we just vote, hold on a second, let me call. Nanette Lee, I'm calling my friends in Dallas right now. We need you to get out and vote tomorrow, okay? You, your mama, everybody, okay? Your brothers, we need all y'all to vote, okay? Nikki, at the sweet potato thing, we need you to vote. I just called a lot of people.
You calling your folks in Houston and Dallas and all of that? Okay. Nanette Lee, you heard him. So Tom, you mentioned, and Royce mentioned how far back you guys go. What is it that you want people to know about Royce West and what a dynamic, as he is known, a dynamic public servant? What do you want people to know about that?
Well, I wish they could have heard you when we got online and you said we have a politician here, and Royce corrected you. He said, "I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant." There's a big difference.
Yeah,
definitely. A public servant. A politician is just full of shit.
Tom, I never heard you curse on radio in my life. Oh my God. Full of shit. A politician is full of shit. Oh my God. Tom said it. Go ahead. Oh. Tom cussed on. Oh.
It's true, huh, Sybil?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Tom. You are absolutely right. And Royce's concern, his actions speak, volumes in regards to what he has done, and especially in terms of, and you look at it, the importance of our education system in this state and other issues. Royce has been a leader and has been a servant of his people in the state Senate. And so we want people to understand that he's not running just because he is running for the people of Texas, and an opportunity.
He really and truly likes helping the community. He is a true public servant.
Yeah.
Politicians generally are just serving themselves.
Right.
Right.
And we've been friends for a long time, and I can honestly say He is the most honest person I know.
And that's saying something for a lawyer and a politician servant.
I know.
Was that a joke? Sybil, was that a joke? Was that a joke?
And
A
of
lawyer
course,
and a politician. Ooh, the most honest person I know. That's a big joke right there. What a wonderful opportunity. If you live in the state of Texas, what a wonderful opportunity to go out and, oh my God, and vote and have a Black representative, a senator. That's what we need. We need you so badly in that Senate seat, sir. We need you so badly because I know if you get one thing done, you've done more than Clarence Thomas or someone.
You know, when you
Royce.
when you begin to think about it, Tom and I go way back when Muhammad Ali used to come to Dallas all the time. Okay, and we used to have Black Santa Claus over in Fort Worth at the Stop Six Multi-Purpose Center. That's how far back we go, George. And in terms of public service, Tom is the epitome of public service. You know that, and I know that.
Sure.
And when you begin to look at my credentials and my readiness for this, you'll see that in terms of Black colleges, you know, I've served on Tom Joyner Foundation board ever since its inception, and over $65 million has been going into historically Black colleges, not only through the Tom Joyner Foundation, but in terms of legislation that I've done here in the state of Texas. We put together a consortium of Black colleges, historically Black colleges, private colleges, in order to put up the Centers for Teacher Education. And I was able to get about $13 million at one point for those historically Black colleges to implement that particular program. I've been able to build universities in the state. In Dallas, as an example, never had a public university. Now we have the University of North Texas at Dallas with over 4,000 students in, and also a law school. And so that's just.
And wait a minute, Royce, don't forget to say those 4,000 students are going to graduate without debt.
That's exactly right.
And then there's that.
Whoever heard?
What'd you say, Tom?
I said, who heard of that before?
Right.
You know, when you start talking about criminal justice reform, and that's what perturbs me more than anything. You know, George Floyd didn't get up that morning thinking he was going to die. Breonna Taylor didn't lay there in that bed thinking that she was going to die. Ahmaud Arbery was hunted down by a former police officer and his son. You know, I can go on and on. And so for us in Texas, throughout this country, not to take the vote serious, we have so many tools. We have the tool of protest, which we need to continue to do in this country, given the fact that 76% of people in this country now recognize that racism exists and that Black lives matter, okay? We need to take advantage of that in terms of coalitions, but we've got to do our part. We've got to do our part and make certain that we use the tool of voting in order to get the structural change that we need in this particular country. And I am obligated and dedicated to get that done.
George,
the three of you are from the state of Texas. You work in Texas. What do you think the problem is that we can't get our Black folks to vote? What is it? What's the problem? Why can't we should want to do this? We got to put you in, no choice.
You know, I agree with you wholeheartedly, George, in terms of getting people motivated to vote. You know, a lot of times people say, well, there has to be a sense of urgency. Yes, there should be a sense of urgency right now.
God, yes.
What's going on in this country? You have Donald Trump as president of the United States that's dividing this country left and right. Some people, I was talking to some kids in San Antonio the other day, and they were saying, why vote? It's not going to make any difference.
Oh my God.
We heard that. You know, it will make a difference. We have 1.2 million African Americans that are registered to vote in Texas.
It's a done deal if they vote. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal, George. It's a done deal.
Man, we need you. Let me tell you how important we need you. People don't realize that. If we get you in as a senator, you know what that means, Sybil? Washington, D.C. becomes a state. You will vote for it to become a state, won't you, sir?
Absolutely.
You better, because I'll be over.
I didn't say before I answered the question, did I? It was no.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need that. It's so important to vote. I don't understand why people say the vote doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
You know, Senator West, also there have been these rulings that have come down from the United States Supreme Court regarding trying to curb the ability of folks to vote, especially in the Democratic Party, and what Republicans are doing to railroad that. What do you say to people who say that I don't think that I'll be able to vote, or when I go, I'm not sure that my vote will count, or I'm not even sure how I'm going to get there in the age of coronavirus? How are we countering all of those obstacles?
The way that I would counter it is back in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation, 1865. We got it here in Texas, and our people were free. Free to do what?
Right.
Okay? They were free to, as Martin Luther King would say, they were free to look at the heavens and also famine. Okay? They were free.
Kenya Burris might do a show called Free-ish.
To
go with all those others, blackish, mixedish, grownish.
Yeah.
And 1865, we were free-ish.
That's exactly right. And then they were telling us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We didn't even have boots.
Okay.
Bootstraps. Okay. And so when people make excuses, 244 years, our ancestors gave free labor in order to build this country. Imagine what they went through.
Right.
Yes, I understand the coronavirus, but we have got to make certain that we turn out and vote if we're going to change this country. We've got to make certain that young people understand that now, in the history of this country, is a time to make certain that you vote, elect persons that have your back, hold them accountable, and make certain we get the job done.
Royce, what do you say to people who, as you are seeking the Democratic nomination for the United States Senate, what do you say to those people who are alleging that your opponent, MJ Hagar, is not a real Democrat? There is a lot of conversation about the fact that she is not going, if she's elected, and we're hoping that's not the case, but if she is, she's not going to be really representing the Democratic Party in the United States Senate if she beats Cornyn.
Well, this is what I'll say. I'll say that you have a right to know what both of the candidates' experience is, what their track record is. I've never voted in the Republican primary. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna need Republicans and Democrats and independents in order to win the general election. But I think it's fair game for people to know that she gave money to John Cornyn. It's fair game to know that the Gladstone flag that was flying for the Tea Party, that she put that up on her Facebook after the military said you could no longer fly that flag. And I think it's fair to understand also that in 2016, the last presidential race, she voted in the Republican presidential primary. When Donald Trump and most of the Republicans were doing what? They're basically saying they want to get rid of the Affordable Health Care Act and restrict women's rights. That's fair game. People need to know that.
So where did she come from? I never heard of her before.
Tom, she ran for Congress last time in 2018. She had a commercial, which was a pretty good commercial. Okay. And now the Senate Democratic Campaign Committee has decided that even though she has no legislative experience, she has really no involvement in all of the communities of this state, that she should be the person that should be the Democratic nominee for the United States Senate against myself and initially 11 other persons. So, she had a distinguished military career, and that's great, man. I applaud her for that. But that doesn't get you to the point where you're ready to be a United States Senator.
Right. You will be ready on day one. When you go in January, you will be ready on day one. And I know your time is limited, but I want you to talk about some of those issues that you have, that you want to get across to people in terms of what your policies are and how you see yourself being most effective in the United States Senate. And as we go into the general election period in your fight against John Cornyn.
Well, this is what I'll tell you. My granddad used to always say, you can kind of look at what a person's done in the past to see what they're going to do in the future. And so when you begin to look at my legislative career, this is what you'll see. Texas was one of the first states to adopt a body camera law. And I passed the law. I also passed a bill dealing with dash cameras in police cars, racial profiling, hate crimes. That's just in criminal justice. I can go on and on. And I'll make certain I can continue to do that. Now, in the criminal justice area, it makes no sense to me that why in this country, Tom, do we have states with different laws as it relates to the use of deadly force? There should be one law, George, and that law should be applied to every state in this country in terms of when a police officer can use deadly force. We need to have a serious discussion about qualified immunity. And that's criminal justice. In terms of healthcare, every person in this country should have healthcare. Yeah. Texas leads the country in the number of uninsureds. Why? Because they don't expand Medicaid. Why? Because when the Affordable Health Care Act came down with Barack Obama, they wanted to make certain that they embarrassed our president. Right. And again, have done nothing to extend healthcare to the great multitude of people in this country. John Cornyn has voted against the Affordable Health Care Act. He's right there with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be an issue between the two of us when we get ready to go to head up in the general election. And I can go on and on about education in terms of debt, $1.7 trillion in debt, student loan debt. We need to figure that out. I think also that we should, instead of doing 12 years of subsidized education, it should be 14 years. We should be able to finance 2 years of community college, 2 years of a university or vocational training. That's what's needed. When we begin to look at what America needs, we need an educated workforce, and we should be investing in that. And that's what I plan on doing. I can go on and on, but those are some of the issues that are important to me. Women's issues, climate change, all of those are important issues.
Senator Rest, we have I think we touched upon this, but Gerald Kurtz is asking, what are you doing to make sure that people are safe when they go to vote during this pandemic?
Well, in Texas right now, doing early voting, it's been extended by at least a week, so it's 2 weeks now. And we're going to be we're telling people to do early voting, Don't get to the polls and then bunch up at the polls, okay? Right. Because there are issues with it that can be worked out, but you got to understand a lot of those poll workers are elderly persons. Right. Okay? And so we've got to make sure people understand that, and they need to get to the polls, do early voting right now. Not going to be able to get any relief from the Supreme Court as it relates to early voting. Mm-hmm. So those persons that have asked for absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, they need to make certain that they get those things in and go ahead and get their vote, make sure they do their vote, and then make sure they take the necessary precautions on election day, wearing masks, wear gloves, get in and get out. But don't let them stop us from voting like they tried to do up in Wisconsin.
Is there any truth to the fact you have face masks say vote for Royce West? Is there any truth to that?
I have it. It's in the car right now.
Mr. West, so let me just say this, George. The most important thing that we have to remind people is, in order to protect our right to vote, we have to protect ourselves to go into the polls and to get out there this week. And so tomorrow for early voting, and on Tuesday on election day, we have to protect ourselves in order to protect our right to vote and to elect a person who is going to help us do that. I'm sorry, George.
Well, I'm just going to ask him, do you think in the future we'll get to a day where we could just vote by phone? We do everything else by phone. We got a social security number, we got a PIN number. Why can't we vote just that simple? Why can't we make voting simple? Just vote. I don't understand what's going on. It's the Republicans against us, I guess.
Well, you sound like
it should be for everybody. It should be for everybody.
You sound like Carol West now, Why are we making it so complicated? And I agree. I mean, the reality is we're supposed to be the #1 democracy in the world, but we can't figure out how to protect the vote and allow people to participate in this process. It's those that are in power right now, George, that are trying to maintain power. They will maintain the power unless we get out, vote, disrupt the system, and get people in that think like the two of us. Well, think like me at least.
Well, you're not old, but my problem is I think what's wrong with America is too many old rich white men. I'm serious. That's what's wrong with America. Too many old rich white men. Look at them from O'Donnell to Benjamin Graham. All those old, they need to go. They don't have new ideas. I'm old and I'm smart, but I'm not as smart. I'm not as old and stupid as they are. I think they need to leave.
Well, do you feel as though you're part of a wave, Senator West, as we are seeing more people? I mean, I understand with the state of Texas, and we have to get all those 1.2 million people out to vote. But do you feel as though there is some positive movement?
Absolutely. Sybil, let me be real clear about this. You know, I've been a state senator for 27 years. I don't need to do this, but I think that I'm required to do it. And when we begin to see what happened in Dallas when we turned Dallas County blue, I see the same factors at play here now. Beto O'Rourke got real close. And so when we begin to think about a coalition that we have put together, the Tejano Democrats are supporting it. The Mexican-American Democrats are supporting it. We can get this done. And then what ends up happening, this is not about me. It's about the future. The reality is this. Once I win this U.S. Senate race, it becomes a blueprint for the future. And helping other Democrats look at what needs to be done in order to win statewide offices. And once I win this, Joe Biden gets 38 electoral college votes.
And to see how that all flows and works together, that's what we need to see, the cohesiveness and how the pattern should be developed.
And it should be a long-term game. You know, the fact is, I believe in my heart that we should be planning for the presidency for the next 16 years.
Exactly.
Okay, and put people in place, do the job that's necessary in terms of governance, and make certain that we address the needs of all Americans. And we can do that. We can do that.
Senator Royce West, I know your time is up with us, and I appreciate your giving us your time. And I just want to give Tom the opportunity to say to people why you support Royce West, and to remind people of what a good and faithful servant he is.
Well, like I said earlier, Royce and I have been friends for a very long time. He's been on the radio with me. He's been protesting with me. He's done everything. I mean, he's my closest friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can honestly say that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
And how does it feel, Tom, that he is going out and he is going to win this nomination and then win the general election, and your flybabies are going to reap the benefits of Royce West's election?
Oh, we got so many pictures of the flybabies at that down in Austin, sitting in the seat of the
chamber.
The state Congress and gavels and everything. I mean, Royce is a good guy.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes, he is.
You don't get much better endorsement than that, as you know, from Tom Joyner.
Hey, Tom, that's how much we miss Tom. Can you imagine Tom still being on radio and we going to Texas and just, as J. Anthony Brown would say, fuck that place up? Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay, Senator, we're gonna let you go so you don't.
He had dinner with me and then you heard some cussing before, but you let him
we are with you, and whatever we can do between now and Tuesday and beyond as we go into the general election, you know, we're here for you, and appreciate you and Carol West and all that you and your staff and family are doing, and we stand with you and ready to make a difference in the state of Texas and encourage people to get out.
Inauguration. I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Please make certain that you use your megaphone in Texas to encourage people to get out and vote. 1.2 million people, George.
Wow.
Yes.
We can get this done. It'll get done.
It can. It can.
Right. I'm getting ready to get out of here.
Go ahead.
Y'all
Yeah.
enjoy. Nice seeing you too. I'll talk to you later, Tom. Thank you, Sybil.
God bless
Thank you, Senator.
Bye-bye.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
you.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting chills. I'm
That
just
was so
thinking
important.
of-
That was great. Yes. This election is more important than Barack Obama's election, as much as, we were really up about that election. But this is very important. And to have that man, Mr. West, get in, that would be awesome. Awesome.
And here, George, is why it seems bigger to me in a certain respect, because we've been to the mountaintop, we've seen a Black president, but now we have been really deep into the valley, if not below sea level.
What we did, we looked over and we seen the promised land.
Yeah. And now we're at such a low point that we really want to be a part of bringing it back to where it can and should be, if not even higher. And I think changing the face of the United States Senate is a big part of that.
And then if we could get what's the guy named from South Carolina, Mr. Harrison?
Yeah, Jamie Harrison.
Oh my God, would that be great or what?
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty awesome.
I think we're gonna do well. I hope we do well, and if we can get in and get Lindsey Graham out, that would be like, oh my God, I'll give you $1,000 if we get Lindsey Graham out.
I don't think we can.
$1,000 to
Everybody. If we get Lindsey Graham out, everybody gets $1,000 from me, and I will lie right. I'll make a great politician.
Yes, you
lie
would.
right in your face. I lie. I lie. But like I said, I'm trying to be the greatest bullshit in the world. But go ahead, Tom.
Because you full of shit.
As I said before, I want to be the greatest bullshit in the world, but Trump is kicking my ass right now. Okay?
Hey, Tom,
Go ahead.
Tom, can you stick around and talk headlines with us for a little bit?
Okay.
We haven't talked to him. He hasn't said anything. Let him do some talking. I'm so happy to be on with Tom. Are you kidding?
Okay. All right. Then, George and Tom, the first story that we had in today's newsletter.
Don't say it. Start with a K. Let's start with a K, does it?
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
no,
it does.
You're talking about some bullshit, Tom. We getting ready to get into some heavy bullshit right now. Call your neighbors, call your friends, and the millions watching around the world. Get ready to get deep up in here.
Kanye West says that he wants to run for president this year. And this was in a Forbes article that came out yesterday. And he says that he has the support of his wife, Kim Kardashian West, and Elon Musk, of course, the man who has created the Tesla automobile. And he will launch his birthday party. That's what the party is going to be called. The third party that Kanye West is going to be a part of is called the birthday party. And he has selected his running mate, who is a 57-year-old white woman from Cody, Wyoming. And there's a bunch of other stuff, and we can go on that. But just off the top of your head, what are your thoughts? Because I have a feeling of one thing, but I'm just curious to hear what you guys have to say. Tom?
I'm just curious, who listens to Kanye? Who wears his clothes? Who goes to his church services? I don't know anybody. Who are these people?
A lot of people. I bet you some people may be listening to us and watching us this afternoon who have been to his church services and who do buy his clothes, if not for themselves, for other people.
I haven't seen any of his clothes on the streets.
You may have seen it and say, I'm not sure who did that, but that's not for me.
First of all, Kanye is a backslider. He was a Christian 2 weeks ago. He was a choir director 2 weeks ago. Now he wants to run for president. As my dad used to say, Kanye running for president makes as much sense as having an ashtray on a motorcycle. This is some bullshit. This is no game we playing here. Kanye, we don't need you to run for office. This is very serious business here. And I'm already mad about what's going on in America. And I don't need no bullshitter to come in trying to take votes away from Joe Biden.
Right.
Okay? It's not time to play games now.
And any vote you take away from Joe Biden is a vote for Trump.
It's a vote for Trump.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Kanye is doing.
They got all of those listeners out there. His wife has the millions of listeners, and he has the millions. And some of these young kids don't fall for this bullshit. Don't fall for this bullshit. We really need the young voters now. We need every vote we can get. Fuck Kanye. Excuse my language. I got a lot of preachers listening to me. I apologize, preachers. Y'all cuss. They cuss in church.
But you guys, how about this? In one of the reports today came out, and I wrote this yesterday for today's newsletter. And I think that Kanye is in the middle of a mental health crisis.
You just wrote that yesterday?
Yeah.
You just wrote that yesterday?
No. I mean, just as far as his announcement for this, the interview that he had that was so kind of up and down, and we can call it wide ranging, we can call it erratic, whatever. But as some people have said today, that he's in the middle of a bipolar period in his life, another one. Return to it. And so they said this is what has come out as a result of this interview. The interview resulted from his bipolar episode. But as much as you want to feel sorry for him, you also have to look at it, as you guys have said, you both have said, that a vote for Kanye is really a vote for Donald Trump. And no matter what he says about Donald Trump and how he doesn't, mess with Donald Trump anymore, the fact is that if he even goes any further with this, if people may even take the effort to write in his name and take away those votes. And it's so very important. This is not the election to play around with a third-party candidate.
Is he the only third-party candidate now?
No, we got a Green Party, but he's the most famous third-party candidate.
Yeah, if you can't see what you're doing by not voting for Joe Biden,
then what are we doing?
Yeah, really. I mean, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're voting for Trump.
Right.
You don't vote at all.
Right. Absolutely. So we have talked about the Karen of Central Park. Oh, we lost Tom for a second. Hopefully we'll get him back. We've talked about the Karen of Central Park, George, the woman that was going to call the police on the birder and Chris Cooper, and she was going to report him to the police and everything. Well, she's been charged now with it's a minor charge, but she's been charged nonetheless for filing a false report. And a San Francisco.
I apologize to everybody named Karen. What? Everybody named Karen. I apologize for. I had nothing to do with it, but this whole thing about calling somebody like that lady in Central Park whose name is not Karen.
Right. It's Amy.
Amy.
Amy Cooper is her name.
Both last names are Cooper. Can you imagine two Coopers meeting each other in the park? Mr. Cooper and Mrs. Cooper on different sides of crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, George.
They're going to pass a law, right?
Well, here's a San Francisco lawmaker who's introduced the Karen Act. It's CAREN. And it stands for a Caution Against Racially Exploitative Non-Emergencies Act.
Yeah.
And so it makes anyone who calls law enforcement based on racial bias subject to criminal charges. And this is definitely necessary. But you guys, have you seen lately, this woman was making the call in Central Park, and that was bad enough. Now we have people who are pulling guns on people in parking lots and because they are offended. It's not fun or funny when your Karen's got a gun, and or Kevin. An apology to all Kevins, but or Kens, whatever you want to call them. But it's becoming even more violent.
Keep apologizing. Apologize to everybody named Thomas.
Apologies to all named Thomas, yes. And the Thomasinas, and yes. But
do you think they will pass the law? Do you think they will pass this law?
I think they will, George. Simply, and this is San Francisco, so I mean, this is a situation that has to go in the various states, obviously, in order to make this happen. But in the state of California, I'm thinking that it will. California is pretty progressive.
Yeah.
But as you know, but here's the other thing. Have you guys noticed with all of the Black Lives Matters murals that white folks aren't having it? They are, blacking them out. They're vandalizing the Black Lives Matters murals. And today, Tom, they started the Black Lives Matter mural in front of Trump Tower.
Fantastic, fantastic. Fifth Avenue, isn't that wonderful? It's beautiful. Did you see the one where they were blacking out Black Lives Matter? What city was that? They took the black paint.
Yeah, it was one town in Northern California called Martinez, California, and it was in front of the courthouse, George. And this is how crazy people are.
How stupid it is. Go ahead.
This is really crazy. A white woman and a white man. The man had Trump 4 more years t-shirt, and they got out of a car, and on the side of the car, it said Nicole. That was the woman's name who was out there blacking out Black Lives Matter.
Blacking out Black Lives Matter. And it reinforced the look of Black Lives Matter. You can even see it better now. Thank you. Paint it black.
Yeah. And they didn't have any difficulty in finding her or that Karen or Kevin or whoever you want to call them. They did find them, and they're facing hate crime charges.
That's great.
By the way.
That's great. Send them there. Lock them up.
Yeah.
Lock them up. Lock their asses up.
And the one thing that we didn't mention regarding the birder, Chris Cooper in Central Park, he when they announced that they were pressing charges against Amy Cooper, he announced that he does not want to press charges. He thinks
with his punk ass. He's a punk ass, like the 2 punk ass guys in Philadelphia apologized to Senator Donald Sullivan at the Starbucks. They punk asses, No matter lock me up at Starbucks, they're gonna pay me. I go to Starbucks every day. I sit there for like 3 hours. They can't say shit to me.
Tom, what do you think?
I don't understand.
Tom will say, first of all, he shouldn't have been bird watching. What do you call him, a birder?
A birder. Yeah.
A birder. He shouldn't be out there shooting birds. What black man? I know James and Brown would have said that. What black man would have said, who the hell, you doing what? You're bird watching.
So Tom, what do you think?
I'm with George.
Once again, my daddy said makes as much sense as having a screen door on a submarine. It's bullshit, I tell you.
Okay, the ashtray on the motorcycle.
Ashtray on the motorcycle. My daddy said some stupid shit.
He was right.
Makes as much sense as having a screen door on a submarine. He could say some stupid shit. But a black bird watcher, she should have called the police on his ass. I know she didn't know what to do. She said he's up to something. He's up to something. Black man looking. You don't see no black man looking up in the air. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Was he wearing Kanye West clothes?
Yeezys.
Yeezys.
In Central Park.
Oh my gosh. Tom, everybody is asking how you're doing. Can you give us a report on your progress and your recuperation?
Oh, it's slow, but I'm working hard every day. I have a rehab therapy every day. Some days twice, like today's a 2 a day. So at 2 sessions today. But it's a slow process recovering from a stroke.
Yeah.
Did it affect your eyes at all? Because those glasses are thick as shit, man. You can bird watch with them goddamn glasses.
You got binoculars.
You wearing binoculars today.
Oh, Sybil had a good one before we went on the air. She said, George, your teeth are as white as
Right. Listen, you guys crossing the line now. Crossing the line now. It's so nice. I got to go over here and I got to help my friend over there. She's over at the store across the street. Miss Butterbean Brown. I got to mention I got to go shopping with her. She's over at the sporting goods store. You know, she loved to shop at Dick's. So that's where she is over there.
Golly, George.
And I
So-
just got a commercial. Jay's on a Tyler Perry series.
Yeah. You saw the commercial. Yeah, it's
Oh.
called Assisted Living, and it's going to be on BET this fall
Yeah.
with
I
David
hate to
and
say it, but
Pamela Mann.
I hate to say it when I see him because he's good, you know, and I hate to give him a compliment. He sucks, but he's good.
He's really excited, and it's gotten a lot of great buzz with David and Tamala Mann, as well as Jay, and one of the Plastic Cup boys, Naeem, from Kevin Hart's crew. And so George also has, programming in the works, Tom. I don't know if you've heard, but he's working on a Norman Lear show.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to shoot here in Atlanta. It's called Clean Slate with me and Laverne Cox. And it should be a wonderful show, and we're going to love that. But first of all, I got to go back on August 7th and get back with the Jamie Foxx show. Daddy stopped embarrassing me. Yeah.
So that's in another month. And tell us about the Jamie Foxx show.
It's about Jamie Foxx, his life. I'm his daddy. Everybody lives at his house and freeloading on him. And everybody needs to get out. So it's a bunch of hell in his house. He's got the money. We're using it. He's running out of beer. There's no beer. I'm complaining about no beer. And I used to be a drug addict. So I'm always smoking around the house.
Oh my God. What a house.
I'm always smoking.
And thinking. I know. All right,
Never
you
smoked
guys.
a joint in my life. Never smoked a joint. Never did any drug, but I'm an addict.
But you're an actor, so we understand. Hey, Tom, it's great to see you. I appreciate you coming on and supporting your man, Royce West, and everybody.
Yes.
Don't forget, early voting in Texas tomorrow is the last day, and Tuesday is election day. If you don't get out to early vote, please, please, please. There is no reason why the over 1 million Black folks who are eligible to vote cannot go out there and do that. There's no reason we can't go out and make history. Absolutely. So Tom, I appreciate you as always being on and being a part of this. And as you know, our cameras are always open to you, and appreciate when you do come on. And I know folks are really happy to see you as always.
All right.
With those thick ass glasses, you should be able to see all the voters out there.
What were you gonna say, Tom?
I guess I'll see you on Wednesday when Royce wins.
Yes, absolutely.
You can see her Tuesday night with those thick ass glasses you got on.
And George, we can see brightly with those teeth of yours.
I'll shine the light and Tom will do the looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, George, thank you so much. Go out there and be good to each other. And also, we will see you next Thursday, George.
James Austin, Jim Austin, you need to get out and vote. Get all your people out to vote. I'm calling everybody in Texas, okay? Okay. All my friends, Stephen Smith, all of y'all go vote. Thank you so much. Texas, Dallas, Texas, vote. Houston, vote. Houston, we got a problem. We need y'all Black people to vote.
Goodbye, George. Thank you so much. Continue.